This episode will pertain to the latest news surrounding Gelli Haha. So if you are a fan or are just learning about her, please stick around. This is All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam and welcome back to the program and welcome to a brand new episode. And before we get underway, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse Minute where we kill the first 60 seconds of the program in order to play nice with the YouTube algorithm with no cursing and no swearing whatsoever. And first, I'd like to give a quick thanks to everybody that has been listening to our podcast on RSS, Spotify, Apple Podcast, or wherever you've been listening. We sincerely appreciate it. And we are currently at 137 subscribers on YouTube. So for everybody that has been subscribing, liking, commenting, we sincerely appreciate it. It keeps us motivated to continue making episodes. And we are, well into 2025 at this moment. And we are looking to close out the year and start fresh in 2026 with so many days leading to the new year. But just want to give a quick thanks. I know this is turning into a longer Game Rage No Curse Minute, but really got to give a thanks to everybody that has supported us by listening and commenting and sharing your opinions on music, whether you think we're right or we're wrong, whatever it might be. Just thank you for sticking around. Anyways, let's go ahead and get underway with the episode. As usual, we do have to do an introduction for the episode. For those of you that are new, or for those of you that have been following us for a minute, there are a plethora of episodes that we have made in the past regarding Gelli Haha, dating all the way back to her first single, which was Bounce House, released sometime, I think, around the end of March and potentially the beginning of April. And we've covered her journey basically now, up until now, rather. So we have the live performances at the Silver Lake Lounge where she performed alongside Chan Pan, and also her debut album release show, which was at the Resident DTLA. That is also available in our live performances playlist on our YouTube channel, so you can check that out. And I may include it within the end screens or the end cards for this particular episode. So if you wait the last 10 or 15 seconds, you can check those out. Anyways, in between those live performances and even dating back to her first single, we've provided coverage of Gelli Haha, and we've done speculation, news surrounding her that included going on a national tour with Polo and Pan. We've also talked about the management group and booking agency that signed Gelli Haha, which are in fact UTA and also loyalty management. So you're curious as to why I'm making this episode. And with that, we will go ahead into the next segment. So the latest news surrounding Gelli Haha is that she is going to be performing with Magdalena Bay. And this is significant for the reason that in previous episodes, we have talked about the management and booking agency of Gelli Haha, which are in fact UTA and also loyalty management. Now, I don't know too much about loyalty management themselves, but after doing some rabbit holing, I came to find out that Magdalena Bay has loyalty as their management. And I thought this was significant for the reason that when we had made episodes, or rather when we had made an episode called The Future, which was regarding what potentially could happen with Gelli Haha's sophomore album, as we've talked about her past and how she had jazz influences in the past, also has a dance background and has played a number of instruments. And I thought, well, I kind of put together some ideas of what her sound might be in a sophomore album. And within that episode, the second segment was talking about what could be some shows we can see in the future, which included me stating that I saw a future in which Magdalena Bay is headlining a tour and Gelli Haha would be the opening act. And that is, in fact, happening. And I looked up this episode to see when I had said that, and it was July 29th. Which was, somewhere around 4 months ago, 3 or 4 months ago. And if you have checked in our previous episodes, there was one that was tangentially related to Gelli Haha. And, actually, not only the Viva Pomona Fest episode talking about my prediction of how I believe Gelli Haha would perform at Viva Pomona Fest, and I also have another episode available where I stated that I made that remark about how I believed she would be at Viva Pomona Fest, and I think it was the Gelli Haha update episode. So I might include those at the end cards, or rather as the end cards for this episode, so you can see the receipts for everything that I have said. But as I said previously, or as I've stated at the beginning of this segment, this is very significant for the reason that this is how music works, to my knowledge. Booking agencies usually take care of how a bill comes together for Gelli Haha to perform with Polo and Pan to share the same booking agency, UTA. And I don't know if the phrase would be to say that it's disingenuous to have bands on social media talk as though they are friends with these other bands. And, that is entirely possible, but we also can't ignore the fact that, a booking agency is trying to put a bill together and potentially trying to make the most money possible with excluding other bands or just exclusively having their own artists on a bill touring the U.S., to make as much money as possible, to keep it in the family, so to speak. And this is no different between Magdalena Bay and also Gelli Haha themselves, both being part of loyalty management. We now see that the familial affair between these sibling bands within the loyalty management group, it's no surprise to me. Like I made this prediction. I thought it was a fairly logical prediction, and I feel like I've come to understand how music works in some regard. I'm basically somebody looking, how would I phrase it? I'm somebody on the outside looking in, and I've asked questions before, and I feel like nobody has given me an answer in any regard. And I guess that has motivated me to excavate or dig up information in my own right. And, within my own pursuits and all the effort and time that I put into this and trying to discover information and share it with you, whether you're a casual listener or you're a band that's listening out there, this is how it works. Like, this is how a band ends up getting to where it is. And it largely has to do with the management group and the booking agency. And largely, I do believe that there is an organic factor when it comes to music itself. When a band is performing at local areas and starting to build their fan base, that is all very real. There's nothing you can do to create an illusion of an audience unless people are paying to, if a management group is paying people to show up to stuff an entire venue to give the illusion that they sold out a show or something along those lines, I think that's entirely possible. But again, when we're talking about the beginning journey of a band, I mean, largely it's people that are, hitching their wagon to a band that they are really interested in, and a following is built over the course of time and everything like that. However, once you get to the upper echelon, I guess, to some degree, whether you're like a mid-sized band or even the 1%, everything becomes very orchestrated. As I've said before, with Magdalena Bay and Gelli Haha, you see these two bands performing with one another, and we're led to believe that these people are like friends or whatever. But it's very much the arrangement of the booking agency that kind of controls the outcome of bills and things like that. And even so with the case of the management group, which is the case for how this show or how these dates came together. But this is very clarifying. This is kind of like a revelation for me to see more examples of this happening with different bands. I mean, there's so many different bands that I can think of examples where The booking agencies are putting these bills together with, the same artists from their roster, but I continue to repeat myself, but it's just really to illustrate how it fucking works. Like this, um, it's it's somewhat bittersweet to know that once you move up the ladder, that the possibility of bills is kind of fixed. It's a fixed outcome. It's not nearly as sporadic. It doesn't really work out, or it often doesn't work out that certain bands will play together or could play together. It becomes very narrow and fixated, and not a whole lot of change, right? Like we can come to expect going forward, we might see more dates where Gelli Haha performs with Magdalena Bay, or perhaps maybe Gelli Haha, once she moves up the ladder, she's going to help some other artists from Loyalty Management or even from UTA to build up the next generation of artists. And this isn't really any kind of condemnation of Gelli Haha herself. This is, again, just pointing out the things that I see. And, there may be people that are listeners that are actually in the music industry that can tell me otherwise. And, I'll be slow to believe them because I've seen enough shit with my own eyes to have a deferring opinion. I mean, I guess the example that I can think of is, if we're going to be talking about Gelli Haha, the last date or last show of Make Out Music, Gelli Haha was going to be DJing along with Deluxe. And, if you have been familiar with Gelli Haha's shows and the music itself, Deluxe is involved on the producing end and also does the live sound and, also works with the band in the live performance regard, right? Well, at Make Out Music, you have both these people, and then you have Jeffrey Bywater, who has, spearheaded Make Out Music, the venue proper, and also the promotion, and he's been very involved with the promotion of Gelli Haha, or at least to my knowledge, or my understanding, it seems like he's been something of a guiding hand. In previous months, Jeffrey Bywater appeared at the what was the podcast? I don't want to take too much time, but there was a podcast. I think it's called Above the Bridge, where he appeared on this podcast. And recently, in recent months, Jeffrey Bywater was talking on this podcast, and Above the Bridge itself also had a festival at the Fox Theater Pomona. And as I stated previously, the Fox Theater is just one of those venues that is associated with Golden Voice, which, in addition to that, I believe the Glass House is as well. And, for Above the Bridge to have this festival and to have these bands perform, it was rather surprising to see at Viva Pomona Fest, once I saw the bill, to see Gelli Haha perform at Viva Pomona Fest, to have these people, Jeffrey Bywater and the lead person of Above the Bridge, to be involved with Golden Voice in some regard with the Above the Bridge festival that happened at the Fox Theater. It kind of got my brain stewing because, once again, we have Gelli Haha performing at the Viva Pomona Fest stage or area at the Glass House, or rather, if you are familiar with Viva Pomona Fest, it happens around the Glass House, or rather within the venue, and also around it in the Pomona Arts District. And from what I saw, Gelli Haha had performed with AKBK, which is another a patented Jeffrey Bywater artist. And I was very quick to check out AKBK's music. We've made episodes about her in the past. The first time that we actually mentioned her was on the Brain Story Sounds Good album review, the sophomore album of Brain Story, where we talked about AKBK for the first time. And then we talked about her in 2024, the beginning of 2024, where we saw her perform at Make Out Music, her very first live performance. And for them to be placed on the same stage at Viva Pomona Fest, what does that tell you? That is not a coincidence. That is not a coincidence. I think in some regard, Jeffrey Bywater had some type of involvement, or I'm led to speculate that Jeffrey Bywater had some involvement in talking about some of the bands that he's featured at his venue and also in his promotion. So there it is, folks. I mean, music is is a whole other beast. I could say that. I've spent 6 years trying to learn as much music as possible, not just talking about bands, but trying to understand how things work, from local promoters to venues to booking agencies and managers. It has been quite the fucking journey, and I've been so fixated on Gelli Haha in 2025, and I tried to do as much extensive research as possible to share everything with you, and this was just one of those times that I had to follow up with this artist. That we had this bombshell news that just dropped, where we have Magdalena Bay touring the US and featuring Gelli Haha as the opening act. This is all to simply say that there are no coincidences in music. If you all dig a little bit deeper, you will find that most of the bills are not coincidental. They are orchestrated by the booking agencies or by the management themselves. And that is why you will often not see, X, Y, or Z band perform with your favorite band. Even if there is a community between bands, that once one moves up the next rung and they get booking and management, the likelihood of them performing with bands within their community, like I guess a sibling band or even a band that they're best friends with, that is less likely to happen with somebody else moving up. And, perhaps both bands move up and they both have management and booking, and it just so happens to be that they will probably never cross paths again, because it is of the agenda of the booking agency to make as much money as possible, to book artists within their own roster, so to speak. And yeah, I don't know what else to add. I feel like I'm rambling on, but nonetheless, this is the latest information regarding Gelli Haha, and we are at the end of 2025, and I'm sure more things are going to come along the way for Gelli Haha. I felt this way. If you have checked out our first episode talking about Gelli Haha, I felt as though things like this were going to happen, and I feel like I'm peeling back layer after layer after layer of an onion and seeing what's at the very core of this artist and everything surrounding her. So it's been a very fun journey. It's been very exciting to just delve into music, delve into the artist and the things surrounding them. It's just it's been a very exciting year in 2025. I found so much great music, and Gelli Haha is one of those artists, and I feel like I really gave it my all this year to cover her and share the music of her to you, the listeners. It's been quite fun, so I hope you have enjoyed our videos and all that jazz. But I don't have anything else to say, so I'm gonna go ahead and end the episode. There might be more on the way. I'm still kind of working through some ideas of episodes to make, but we'll see if they actually turn up. But nonetheless, you have this one episode to enjoy before the holiday break, whether you celebrate Christmas or Hanukkah or any other event. I wish the best for you. I hopefully will see you before the new year and we make a new episode. But if not, just want to give you a holiday salute, a holiday cheer. Make sure you're safe and enjoy your loved ones and have a good time. So anyways, that's going to be the end of the episode, and I'll catch you all next time.